So, early August, and we're currently on our last cuts in the north, and some sites have already had the last cuts simply because once it gets wet and then it gets dark up here, some of the areas don't dry up. So some areas have already had the last cuts this week, others will be getting theirs next week. And just a recap on the year that has been, really. It's nice to come to the end of grass cutting, and it's nice to be dropping into hedges and other things. It's been sorry, I'm eating a polo. It's been a tricky year. Same against staff, which I've been saying for the last couple of years on my YouTube channel. But the good news is this is the last year. Next year, as I've explained in previous videos, we have a plan. It includes getting, well, I've already let a lot of sites go. I've had a few customers come back who want us to stay. Have talked money and things like that, and I've basically explained the situation and the reason why we're not going back, and they're quite happy with that in the end. And I'm currently trying to find them new customers. So sorry, not new customers, I'm trying to find them new contractors, and hopefully we can help them out and get them someone reliable. So that's where we are, helping our ex-customers right till the very end. But I'm going to a meeting this afternoon, and what it is, I've had a contract for 13 years, and it keeps getting renewed. Basically, I would have, if I'd have killed somebody, I would have been out of prison by now. But it's a bit like that. But I'm still here. No, that aside, I like the job. I like the clients. I like the people who I work for. But what it is, I've had it for 13 years now, and in the early days I did everything myself because this was one of my first council contracts, and I came here and I used to fly around on a morning and lit a pick and then drop on the grass cutting and then dig a grave and then put some bedding in. And this was the contract I think I mentioned. I used to be out of bed at 5 o'clock on a morning, and I used to be locking the park because that was the other thing. It came with a park attendant. So I used to be locking the park at 9 o'clock on a night, and it was long days, and it was 7 days a week. And in the early days I did everything myself, and the council loved everything we did. And we never got complaints. Then when I started taking staff on, like anything, that's when the complaints come, because nobody will work as hard as you, nobody's as conscientious as you, where I'm always looking behind to see what I've left behind, and if I've missed something I'll go back. Whereas an employee, not all of them mind, but a lot of them will just drive on and keep going and not look behind. So that's where we were with it, and it's been tricky. And I would say the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years, it's been even more tricky, because unfortunately I did select the wrong person for the job, and this person caused a lot of issues. But the good news is this person is now gone, and it's surprising how that I have monthly meetings with this council now, and in the 4 months, something like that, since this person's gone, and I've brought in a new person who actually does what they say they're going to do. So if they say they've emptied a bin in a park, they've done it. If they say they've weeded a bed, they've done it, whereas this other person would just say they had. Then the good news is this contract's been running sweet, and I've had no issues. And I know that I'm going to a meeting today, and I know that there'll be no problems. That everything that they're happy with, that we've done, all the jobs that we say we've done, we have done. And they can. The thing is, when I fill sheets out and send them in, the council members have always been able to go out and check, and that's when I used to get the feedback that, but you said you've done this, Scott, and you haven't. That there'll be no problem. And I would go back to the person, and basically it was just a waste of time. I just gave up in the end, and they were getting paid for doing nothing really. So by getting rid of the bad people and getting in someone good who has been here now, and he's not causing me any trouble, and updates me each night on the way they go home and say, look, I never managed to get this done, but I've got this done, this done, this done, and that's all I want. And they go out and do the rounds on the morning, they go around all the parks and everything, and it's took a big headache away when, like I say, I was stressed at the start of the year with all these, with too much work and not enough people and everything. So they've really helped out that way, they've solved the problem. And whereas the members of this council I'm talking about, they weren't keen on the other person because they knew A, how much trouble he caused, and they also knew that he wasn't always working, and he was a lot of the time was sitting about. They know, and they talk about this new person, about sort of how they breath of fresh air and how things look tidier and how they see them constantly working and not sat in a van. So that feedback for me is gold, because I don't need to check up as much. I don't need to go out and think, right, bet they sat in the van for 2 hours this morning, because I'm getting feedback constantly of members of the council who are saying, look, this is happening, they've done this, we're happy, they're pleasant. So it's getting the right staff, and I know it's difficult, but it's just, I think it's finally clicked that, like I say, we're going to work with less staff, but we're going to work next year with people I can trust. We're going to work on a tighter basis, but it means that it's going to make my job a lot easier, and I'm going to have a lot less stress. So, and that moves into family as well, because, like I say, the last few years working 7 days a week and things, and sacrificing holidays and things. I think this year I've had 3 or 4 holidays, and I'm going away again in a few weeks abroad. And in the past, we've never been able to do that. And my wife said, "Oh, well, why don't we have a back end of the year holiday?" And it hasn't been down to money; it's been down to the fact that I daren't leave this ship that I'm driving. So, like I say, it's been an up and down start to the year. I'm pleased. A lot of the sites are going, because, like I say, they've still been there, and they've still been needed to be doing, and we've still been running around the last few months, and trying to meet tough targets, which we've done. And the weather helped when it was when the grass had died off for months and months, and like I say, it's just started to pop back up a few weeks ago, and hey presto, we're at the end of the season. So we've got bedding to put in next, and once the bedding's in, that's pretty much it. We're just going to be hedge cutting and pruning and tidying sites for the rest of the year till sort of March, and a bit of Christmas lights putting up. But that's another job that I've halved as well. I've given notice to some of my Christmas light work, so that will be a doddle as well this year. So I've cut out all the tricky stuff. I've cut out all the customers and the sites that are a bit of a pain and stuff, and like I say, brought in a few new sites, and things should run swimmingly going forward. Equipment wise, I think I mentioned in the previous video, I've got a budget. I've already got in my head what I want to buy, but I'm going to just hold off that couple of weeks till Saltex, just in case I see something at Saltex. If I spy something there, then things might change, but at the moment I know what I'm going to invest in. I've got an idea of what I'm going to spend. I have a budget of 60k this year. That doesn't include a trade-in, so I know that one of my machines that I'm trading in, I've already had a sort of valuation on it of just short of 20k. So yes, you could look at it and I am investing 80k really, but I'm not, because you've got that trade-in, so of what you already own, if that makes sense. So that's where we are, bringing in new gear to make our job even easier next year. Getting rid of the sites that, like I say, are high maintenance, and concentrating on things what we enjoy, and getting in a bit more gardening as well, because like I say, that's the part I do enjoy. Although it's easy work, and someone would say, why don't you just want to sit on a ride on 5 days a week? I don't. I like to get out, I like to prune, I like to weed, I like to do the there's a couple of sites that we look after for directors of companies and things, and I love them days when I go there and I know it's gardening and I'm splitting plants and doing stuff like that. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people, like I say, just like the grass cut, but I don't. That's the side I like. So that's where we are, and we'll have more time to, whereas at the moment I'm going to some jobs like that and I'm maybe spend 2 or 3 hours when the customer wants a little longer, and at least next year I can say, look, I can stay half a day or whatever. So it's benefiting our customers as well. Workload wise, the amount of work, I'm not bragging here, but the amount of work we've turned down this year is just unbelievable. And the amount of work that's still coming in, that people are still emailing and things, there's a crazy, considering we're sort of supposedly in a recession, the amount of work that's out there is unbelievable. So we're gonna the amount of work that's still kicking about there is unbelievable. So we're in a position, like I said, where with having this extra time, if a hedge comes in or a tree reduction comes in and little jobs come in, it means that the jobs that I've turned down for the last, well, not year, I would say 2 years, because I've turned a lot of jobs down. If I look at it and think it's an easy job, it's an in-out job, it's probably pays good money, or another one where you go to look at it and the first thing they say is, oh, I've been quoted £500 for this, because that's what a lot of people say. They tell you straight away that someone's quoted them X amounts of money, and a lot of the time you think it's probably half that job. And someone might be quoting that because A, they don't want the job, so they're banging the price up so they don't get it. But a lot of the time you look at things like that and you think, yeah, I could probably do that, and you put in a price and you get it. So that's the plan. We'll have a little bit of space to do the odd jobs, as well as servicing our clients that we work for now who give us extra works. They might come in June, July, and I'll say to them, look, you're not going to get this done till October, November, till we're quiet. And they're happy with that, but you don't want to keep doing that. You want this client to be 100% happy, and when they're going back to the meetings and talking to council members and saying Scott can do it but he's busy for 3 months, it just takes that one member to say, well, let's look elsewhere and get someone else in, and you could lose 3 or 4 jobs. So thanks for watching, guys. Just a short one again, and we will see you on the next one.